Today we'll be doing a quick video on how important it is to screen your tenants properly and how to go about doing it. Screening tenants. Many of us hear how important it is and all those horror stories. Before you go shrugging these stories off, hear this video out, because these stories happen more than you think. We're often involved with the property management company that we're partnered with, and their workload has been cut in half ever since they implemented new tenant screening policies. It's obviously a waste of time taking tenants to court for late payments or missed payments, and it costs money to take them to court. Overall, it's obviously best to avoid it in the first place by taking simple precautionary measures. We have heard it all, from grow operations to tenants taking advantage of inclusive utilities to run their own laundry business from their unit. Let's cover step by step how to properly screen tenants to minimize risk of any future issues. Number 1. List your ad professionally. We'll be covering how to put up a good quality ad in the future video. So how does this help? If the ad is poorly written with very bad pictures, it will only attract low quality tenants. Think about it. If you're a good quality tenant and you see an ad for a rental unit that is at a fair cost, but the description looks like it was written by a child, and the blurry photos just make it look like a dusty dark home, you likely wouldn't even bother contacting them. If you're a low quality tenant, you'll be desperate for anything. Number 2. When agreeing to a certain showing time, pay attention to a few things. Do they show up on time? Are they dressed decently? Do they have good manners? Things like this may seem discriminatory, and you may think, what if they actually had a good reason for being late, for example? However, this is a business. If they can't respect your time, if they couldn't look at Google Maps before leaving the house, they will possibly not respect your property either. The same goes for them making themselves at least look somewhat presentable. There is another thing that will be a huge red flag that happens frequently. When they start giving you a sob story that they will be homeless if you don't give them this home, and that they have kids, etc., it's not that you shouldn't be compassionate, but these are likely going to be troublesome tenants from a business perspective. From our experience, there will often be damage to the unit, and almost certainly late payments. If they say they have to move in this weekend, question it. Perhaps their landlord is kicking them out for lack of payments. But they're not going to tell you that. Or maybe they're escaping something. Either way, if they are proper tenants, they shouldn't be looking for a place to reside in the last second. They should be fine with waiting a couple of weeks. Number 3. When reviewing their application, pay attention to a few things. Do they have a lot of demands? Things like asking for a lawnmower to be provided or for the unit to be cleaned, that's fair. But if they have a whole list of things they want changed, don't bend over backwards for them. If they're like this now, imagine how many calls you'll be receiving in the middle of the nights when they move in there about every single little thing. Also, pay attention to their budget. If they have a brand new car, they likely have a lease or financing payments. If they have children, their cost will be higher than that of a single couple. Our real estate management company uses a general rule of thumb. The total income is preferred to be at least 2.5 times the amount of the rent. Although it's much better if their net income, which is after tax, is at least 3 times the amount of the rent. Pay attention to how old they are. Generally, young people are not accepted by landlords, unless it's a student house, and for a good reason. They probably just moved out of their parents' house, they're still irresponsible and immature, they love to party and blow money on alcohol. Of course, this doesn't apply to many of them, but how would you truly know? It's not like they will tell you that. If it's a very young couple, especially with a baby, once again, think about it from a business perspective. There's a high chance of them breaking up since they're still immature, and now you're stuck with a tenant who is begging to end their lease early and receive their last month's rent back, or asking you to let them pay later. They will start creating a pity story about the fact that they're now a single mother or father to get you to feel sorry for them and return their money. Once again, it's not being heartless to reject the idea of returning their last month's rent. They can always reside at their parents' or friend's home until they get back on their feet. Our real estate management partner company tells us that these stories are very frequent. And as soon as you show them some empathy, they try to further take advantage of you, leading to more trouble. Once again, it's not about being a bad person. It's not saying that everyone is like this. However, this is a business. You're trying to minimize risk. Number 4. Actually follow through with contacting their references. This is where you may often dig up lies about their employment or their past tenancy. As you talk to the employer references, ask about things like their income, how long they've been working there, etc. When you talk to past landlords, ask all the questions as well, such as rent amounts, how they were as tenants, did they pay on time, what utilities were they responsible for. Compare these questions to the answers on the applications. If there are inconsistencies or hesitations over the phone, it may be a red flag that there may be some lies. For employer contacts, verify that the phone number matches the one on the company website. Most companies do have a website, or at least a page on Google, so this shouldn't be a problem. If the numbers do not match, call the number on the site and ask for that specific contact. Number 5. Always check their credit score. They may seem like good people, and it may seem like a waste of money to check, but do it anyway. Of course, most people won't have a great credit score, so you can't be too picky. But if it's at the very high risk level, that should make you question whether or not they will pay rent on time. Based on our years of experience, the lower the credit score and income, the lower their integrity. This isn't to bash on people with low income, but there is a high correlation, and landlords have to look after the best interest of their properties. Why risk it? Number 6. Always check at least 4 of every tenant's most recent pay stubs to confirm that that's the income they put on their application, and to make sure it's steady income. And also ask for a letter of employment with the letterhead. Check and pay close attention to make sure the pay stubs and the letter are professionally done. If it looks a little bit off, or if it looks a little fake, it likely is. Creating fake documents happens a lot more than you think. Additionally, have they been working 3 months or less at their current job? Remember that in Ontario, the first 3 months are the probation period for most companies. What does that mean? That means that in those 3 months, if the employee isn't performing adequately, then the employer has the right to let them go, which means now you're stuck with a tenant who can't pay his rent. Remember, despite what you think, it's usually better to wait even a month with a vacant unit to get the right tenant. While you may lose out on the month worth of rent, at least it will save yourself the headache and the potential costs such as taking them to court and filing for eviction, as well as repairs for any possible damage caused to the unit by them, either because of the lack of respect or out of anger that you are evicting them. Property managers, such as the one we are partnered with, are great to hire to do all this for you because they specialize in verifying as closely as possible that the information is not fake. On top of that, they have access to a lot more helpful information than the rest of us. For example, when doing credit score checks, the reports that they pull out state their current employers, which can verify that they actually work there. Another example is that they often have access to be able to check who the real owner is of the home that the applicant states they are currently renting at, to ensure they didn't just put a phone number of a friend or a family member. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. We're here to help because we specialize in this. If you don't have any time to invest, call us anyway. Maybe we can figure out a plan that works for your schedule so that your money is working hard for you. Also, don't forget that we're partnered with a professional real estate management company that will take over all the heavy lifting for you at a discounted amount if you buy or sell through us. Visit us at StrategicInvestments.ca. Don't procrastinate, don't wait till tomorrow, contact us now.